Here we go. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Peter Hill, the Technology Coordinator here at the Andover Public Library, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the telescope backpacks that you can borrow from the library absolutely free. September 26th is International Observe the Moon Night, and what a better opportunity to mess with a telescope than on a really good night for viewing the moon with a whole bunch of other people across the entire world. That's pretty slick. International Observe the Moon Night is to draw attention to backyard astronomy and just going outside and looking at the moon. You can see the moon with the naked eye, you can see the moon with binoculars, or you could borrow the library's little 80mm telescope. Moon! This telescope will magnify the moon, I would say about 60 times with the little eyepiece, and make it so bright that you'll be able to see some of these features and details that you just can't see with the naked eye. And being a real telescope, setting this thing up on a nice sturdy picnic table in your backyard gets rid of much of the wiggly jiggles and makes the experience of viewing the moon really enjoyable. You can share it with your family. So in the telescope bag you get what comes with it. You get this lovely star pattern bag. I really dig that. I think my lunch is going in that bag. There is a coding mouse. You can program this thing and with these little flashcards that are in there and learn a little bit of computer programming, which is really a moon thing.
What else?
Yeah, there's a number of different books. The 8 Little Planets.
Find the Constellation.
Find the Constellation by H.A. Ray. What else is in here?
We have, look at this. It's a travel map for the moon.
A travel map for the moon, so you won't get lost. And this is presented in 2 different ways. One of them is upside down, so it's what you'd see if you looked in through a telescope. This is the mirror image map. So if you looked at the moon with the naked eye, you'd see this side, right? And if you looked at the moon through the telescope, you'll see the opposite of it, which is really confusing, and it's very easy to get lost.
That's okay.
It's easy to get lost on the moon.
That's why it's, lost on the moon. And you know what? You can't call an Uber from there.
No.
You have the instructions.
Instructions.
And, of course, you have all the forms that we ask you to sign here at the library.
I love
To
forms.
say, hey, did you take this out and did you bring this back? So that is all included with one more box. And Pete happens to have that on our table right
So
there.
in the box, these are parts of the telescope. And really quickly, I'll show you how to assemble it. In the box, in the tote, is this finder scope. The finder scope helps you to aim the main telescope because this doesn't have any magnification on it. There's an electronic thing in there that makes a little red dot appear in the center of the lens. It's pretty slick. It just clicks in place on the side. There's a adjustment screw on the side to move it this way and the side to move it that way. It's fiddle with it a little bit. Before you try looking at something in the dark, set this thing up, aim at a terrestrial object, and practice focusing and aiming the telescope, because it's more awkward in the dark. Just you wait.
When he said terrestrial, he did not mean me. He meant something like Saturn,
Over the moon.
which you could see from our telescope here at the library.
Yeah, you'd be able to see Saturn with this thing.
Maybe.
It might be a little scope, but this is a real scientific instrument. You can see Jupiter. I took this thing, I set it up on the hood of my car, and I was able to see all 4 of Jupiter's moons. No, there's really like 14 of them, but I could see a few of those moons, and I even could pick out a shadow on the surface of the moon, or the surface of the Jupiter, that was a shadow from one of those moons passing over. It's like a lunar eclipse on Jupiter. It's pretty slick.
A Jupiter
A
list?
Jupiter ellipse. Yes, exactly.
So-
Precisely.
So we have this great telescope that you can use in your backyard, in your front yard, depending on where you live, It's best done without street lights,
Yep, do it in the dark.
in the dark.
And it's free.
Free to check out here
I
at the
like free.
library. And you can always call us and say, do you have one available? We have 2 available.
Yep.
And we are hoping, at least Pete and I are hoping, that we are going to be able to do something for Observe the Moon Night in a streaming fashion or on our social media platforms.
Yeah, definitely. Keep an eye on the Andover Public Library Facebook page or the Andover Public Library main website. I'll make sure a link magically goes poof and appears on the Facebook page or the web page
Yes.
to some sort of a streaming event where I set up the telescope in my backyard and make Star Wars jokes all night. It'll be hilarious. It'll be awesome.
Now, if they happen to be out when you want them or you want to check them out, don't fret. We have wonderful selection of magazines and books and videos in there on astronomy and the moon. So you know what, you may not get the telescope right away, but keep calling us because you know what? We have 2 of them, and sooner or later they're going to come back to Earth.
Back to
They're
Earth.
coming back to Earth. So Pete is always here to talk to you about if you have a problem setting it up. And like he said, set these things up in the daylight before darkness happens because you know what? At dark you're always fiddling. You don't want to miss something. And
Yeah, it's easy to lose the little parts in the grass.
exactly. And the scope type thing here is exactly what it is. You're going to scope out and do a line right to what you want to see. And I'm sure you want to see the moon. I love seeing Saturn, but we want to give you that opportunity here at the library. And again, just like Pete said, keep an eye on our Facebook page, our homepage, and see what we have in store for you coming up next on Observe the Moon Night, September 26th.
Yeah, Observe the Moon Night is September 26th. That's a Saturday, so I'm not going to be at work. It's going to be cool. And
not gonna be at work.
no, Saturday. So if you're unable to borrow one of these telescopes from the library, or if you don't have a big telescope set up in your backyard because you're a nerd, you can see amazing detail on the moon with just binoculars, and International Observe the Moon Night is a really great opportunity to chunk out some time from your schedule to just go out there and do some naked eye astronomy and observe the moon. Take some time, think about what you're seeing, talk about what you're seeing with your family, and then hopefully we can have some kind of a virtual interaction on Facebook with the live stream event.
We'd love to see you come into the library and take home one of these for, I don't know how long it is, what, a week? 2 weeks? A week's time. Come in, check it out, learn all there is to know about our telescope, and it may just give you a new passion.
It's
And a
addicting.
passion of the moon, the stars, all of those things, because we want you to be over the moon.
Over
the
the
moon,
moon.
with the Andover Public Library. So thank you for joining us here today and learning about our telescope in the telescope backpack bags that you can check out here at the library for free.
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 We'll see you again soon, and keep an eye on our Facebook and our homepage.
Thank you very much.